Alright, today's lesson is over the SI system, the International System of Units, or what's also known as the metric system. In the United States, we mostly just use the English system, which when you go to measure things, you use like cups, tablespoons, things like that. But any other country is using the metric system, which is going to be like grams, kilograms, things like that. So there are 7 SI base units that you're going to deal with for length, mass, temperature, time, amount of substance, that is actually the mole, we'll get in that later in the year, and then 2 that we don't really cover very much are luminous intensity and electric current. What we're going to focus on today is mostly length and mass, and then a derived unit dealing with volume. But those are what we're going to deal with for today's lesson. So looking at the units of length, the SI base unit, and that's just, you know, the regular unit that you deal with, is the meter. So you can make conversions using what's called the stair-step method, which you have learned before. You can convert meters to kilometers, centimeters, millimeters. So if you don't remember what that stair-step method is from your physical science, it would be like if you got kilometer was your top unit, and you would go 3 down to what we called base. Then you would go to deci, centi, and milli was as far as we took you last year, and you would make your conversions using that by moving the decimal place. And that's why the SI, or the metric system, is simply pretty simple, because you just have to move that decimal to get it right. So if I have 100 centimeters and I want you to tell me how many, say, meters that is, it doesn't have a prefix on it, meter doesn't, so that means I'm going to the base. So I would move 2 places, and if I'm going up the staircase, that means I move the decimal to the left, so that means I have 1 meter. So 1 meter has 100 centimeters in it, and that's how you use those conversions last year. You've also got what's called and I didn't write it on here, it's called a derived unit. A derived unit is just a combination of a couple of base units. So space, or units of volume, volume is the space that something occupies. You find volume, and you've learned this in your math classes, by taking length times width times height. So that would be like taking meters times meters times meters. Well, when you multiply those 3 out, you end up with meters cubed. So that's just another SI unit that you may deal with. There's some other common units like liter, milliliter, microliter. In this class, if you're in the lab, you're mostly going to be dealing with this one, milliliters. That's what our graduated cylinders measure things in. So you'll get used to seeing milliliters. Units of mass. The SI base unit for mass is actually kilogram. It's not the gram. Don't ask me why. I don't really know. But it's kilogram. So that is the base unit for them. That kind of corresponds with our pound. So they measure things in kilograms. We measure things in pounds. So some other common units that you're going to see are grams, milligrams, or micrograms. We'll get to what micro is in a little bit. Now also, remember that weight is different than mass. So weight is going to be your gravitational pull on your mass. So think about Earth and the moon. So the moon is smaller. So no matter what, your mass is your mass. So they are the same. But when I look at my weight on Earth versus my weight on the moon, because the moon is smaller, my weight would be smaller. And my weight would be higher on Earth because its mass is bigger. It's a ratio of the 2 masses. So the fact that Earth has a bigger mass, it makes the gravitational pull larger, making your weight larger. So for those of you that want to diet, just go to the moon and your weight will be smaller. Alright, so we're going to review, and I'm going to work these problems kind of off to the side somewhere, but what I want to go through first is I want to go through the stair-step method and add the extra units that you guys have not seen before. So I want you to go ahead and transfer this in your notes somewhere. But remember, you've got, and I just messed up, I'm going to try to fit this on here, and I don't know if I can. You've got kilo at the top. you go down 3 spaces, and again, this was my base. So from my base, I go to deci, centi, milli, and that's the ones that I did just a few minutes ago. But now I'm going to go 3 more is what's called micro, nano, and I ran out of space, but there's going to be 3 more down from there, and I don't know where to put it. 3 more down from nano to pico. And I will transfer this on the board. I will go over this when we get in class, but that's going to be how you make the movements. So to start with number 1, it says I have 550 milliliters, and I want you to convert that to liters. So you could go to, right here is milli, so that's where you're at. I want you to go up to liters. Now remember, if it doesn't have a prefix on it, that means it's at base. So I'm wanting you to go 1, 2, 3 places, and remember, when you go up the stair step, you move the decimal to the left. When you go down the staircase, you move the decimal to the right. So I'm moving 3 to the left. So I'm going to go over here and say 1, 2, 3. So this would be 0.55 liters would be my answer there. And let me verify that I actually did that right. Okay. Next, I have 6,560 micrograms. So I'm going to erase all my work from the last problem. So for this one, I'm looking at micrograms. I'm right here. That little, it's not an M, it's like a U. So, and you can kind of see it here. It is a U looking thing. It's not an M. So that means microgram to kilograms. That means I want you to go all the way up here to the top. So just count how many steps you're moving. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 places to the left. So you would have to start down here at the end by the 0 and say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And the rest of those, that's where your decimal is, so you got a 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, so I can't get it to erase, so I'm going to use a different color. I'll use black this time. This time I have 380 kilometers, and I want to go to meters. So I am at this black dot up there. I'm at kilo, and I want to go to meters. Meters is no prefix, so that means I'm going to base. So I am moving 1, 2, 3 places down the stair step. So I'm going to be moving 3 places to the right. So I'm starting with 380. My decimal, again, if you don't see it, it's at the end. So I'm moving 1, 2, 3, and I add my zeros. So it's 380,000 meters. The next one, I'm going to do this one in blue. I'm at kilometers still, so I'm up here. I'm going to kind of put this one at the bottom. And I want to go to centimeters. So I'm going to go all the way down here. So I'm moving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places down the stair step, so to the right. So 380. I'm moving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Add my zeros. So that would be 38 million centimeters. And that is my answer there. So that is the lesson for today. Go ahead and answer the whisk form and let me know that you remember how to do these stair step conversions.